Morning everyone, welcome back to Super Scientists. It's really good to see you back again. I'm going to talk to you today about gravity. And if I move out of the way, you'll notice behind me that I've got a picture of Sir Isaac Newton. Well, Sir Isaac Newton is a very famous scientist. He's obviously not alive anymore, but he was very famous for his theories on gravity. And in fact, I'll show you here just behind me, I've got one of Sir Isaac Newton's apples that you can get when you go and visit his birthplace, which is in Shropshire in Leicestershire. And it's really a wonderful place for you to go if you're interested in science and if you want to learn more about gravity. There's loads of stuff that you can do there, and it's National Trust. So if you've got a National Trust card, then you can obviously get in for free. If you don't have a National Trust card, then it's not too expensive. There's something else that I want to show you that I own that's very special to me. Apart from this picture behind me that I painted myself, and this apple, which is Sir Isaac Newton's apple. It's not his famous apple, but these are the replica ones that you can buy from the shop. This is very, very special to me because this is an actual sample of Sir Isaac Newton's tree, and I've got it on a key ring there. Every year they prune the tree where Sir Isaac Newton sat, which is why there's an apple on my picture behind me. So Sir Isaac Newton was famously sat underneath his apple tree, and an apple fell down and hit him on the head, or fell next to him is actually what happened. And it gave him the theory of gravity, and that's where his findings came from, so they say. So that apple tree is really quite famous and quite important, and this is my small sample of that tree, which is very special to me. So I'm going to put it over here out of the way in a very special place. In fact, Einstein can look after it for me. Here we go. Right, so today's lesson on gravity then, I split it into 4 sections, and I've got lots of practical activities that you can do at home to make science a lot more fun. The first activity I have got, which is also suitable for Key Stage 1, is 2 balls of blue tack, and you can use plasticine as well if you like, and if you don't have either of those you can also use paper. Just screw them up really tight, and once you've done this experiment you can do it with lots of other objects too, of different weights and different sizes. And what I'd like you to do is just hold them out with your hands like that, and hold them at exactly the same height, and then when you're ready let them drop and see which one hits the ground first. But imagine what you think is going to happen before you do it. Do you imagine that the large ball is going to hit the ground first because it is heavier, or do you think that it's going to be the small one? Have a little think about it, and then hold your hands out in front of you. You're not going to be able to see it hitting the floor, but there we go. They both hit the floor at exactly the same time, because the force of gravity on Earth is equal. There are some things that can affect that, like a piece of paper, for example, which is subject to air resistance, which is air getting trapped underneath, and it will end up floating. But you can try that experiment with lots of different objects, and you can just hold them at the same height, and you can drop them. Sometimes when I work in schools, I get children, obviously very safely, to stand on the tables or the benches and to hold them up, and usually that's quite exciting too because it adds a little bit of height. It's also an experiment that they offer at Sir Isaac Newton's museum for students to have a go at, in a little tower that you can climb up, and there's lots of different objects of different weights that you can let go. So that's a really good experiment for you to try. So Key Stage 1, have a go at that. Before you go, there is another one I want you to have a go at, so it's packed full of experiments today. In the description, I will clip these templates for these whirligigs. And my advice to you is, it's very simple really. You cut out the solid lines and fold the dotted lines. Don't cut any dotted lines, just fold them. I'm going to give you an example now. And there's 3 whirligigs on here, so you could, if you wanted to, have a family competition once you have cut them out. So I'm going to cut round all of the solid line. I'm not going to do a very neat job of it because I don't want you to have to spend time during this video just watching me cut things up, because it's not particularly exciting unless I do a dance at the same time. But anyway, so I've done that. I've cut out the solid line at them all around the outside. I've got one solid line down the middle there, which I'm going to do now. It doesn't go all the way down, it just goes to that point there. So I'm going to cut that just to there. It's a solid line. And then I have two small solid lines here. I don't want to cut all the way to the middle. I just want to cut to where the solid line goes. So I'm going to do that now. So I just cut those out like so. I'm going to put my scissors down. Okay, so now I've got A and B. I want to fold A, sorry, I can't get my words out. I want to fold A towards me and B away from me. So I've got what looks like now a sycamore seed, and you can see how it's already trying to take shape. And I'm going to fold along this long dotted line here. It doesn't matter whether I go back and forth with these ones. And I'm going to fold another one here, like so. And then this line here at the bottom, I would like you to also fold that. Now that gives it a little bit of weight on the end. If you have a paper clip, you can attach a paper clip to the end of your whirligig. If you don't, just fold it, and that is absolutely fine. And then what you do is, in a similar fashion to what you were doing before, you can stand safely on a tall surface, or you can just get your mum and dad to hold this up quite high for you. So you hold it up and then you let go and it turns around a bit like a sycamore seed. And that's a really good experiment to do and have a look at how gravity will affect it. You can try different methods with the whirligig. You can fold it thinner at the top, you can fold the edges up, you could fold them underneath. You can try lots of different things with it to see if you can make the whirligig stay in the air the longest. And the more that you print out, the bigger the competition you can have, and you can even have a competition with your friends, because you could take a video of you doing it and timing how long it takes, and then get them to do the same and have a little competition and see who can get theirs to stay in the air for the longest. Great. So key stage 1, that's the end of your activities for today. Please look at the worksheet. Don't forget to click the thumbs up on the video and like it, because likes are really important, and have a look at the online shop to see if there's any pound practicals that might interest you. Okay, key stage 2. We're going to think about parachutes. And I'm going to ask you to also look at this second whirligig. Again, just cut around the solid lines. So I'm going to have a go at showing you now, and you're going to crumple the end up instead of using a paper clip. The bottom is a circle. So here I go, cutting all the solid lines, making sure that I don't cut any of the dotted lines, because those are the ones that we're not supposed to cut. Those are fold lines, if you remember, and I have nearly done. The most difficult part of this is just making sure that you cut a nice circle at the bottom. But if you struggle with cutting, then ask your mum and dad to help you, and be very careful not to cut yourself with scissors. So there we have the whirligig cut out. I'm just going to cut down. Oh, sorry, I dropped it. Bear with me a second. There we go. I'm just going to cut down this solid line here, not all the way down, just along that line. And as the previous one, I'm going to bend forwards, it says on it, so bend it forwards towards you. It doesn't really matter which way around they go, and bend it backwards away from you. And then this one, you just take it in your hand at the bottom and you just crumple it like that. There we go. And that's your weight on the end. It's a bit like the paper clip on the other one. Have a go at messing around with changing these. What happens if you fold them up like that? Yeah. What happens if you fold them in like that? What happens if you make these folding all the way along the edge like that, and all the way along that edge like that, so that you've got them a little bit thinner? Then what happens? Have a go at different things that you could do with it. Once you've done that, again, hold it from a different height. You can use a timer on your watch or on your iPad or on your phone, and just drop it and stop it when it hits the floor. Okay, Those are called whirligigs and they're absolutely brilliant. I'd like you to also have a go with parachutes. When I'm working in schools, one of the things I sometimes do when I look at air resistance and I look at gravity is I attach these little mini parachutes to students and ask them to run 100 metres with the parachute on and 100 metres without the parachute on to see what effect it has and how the air is trapped inside the parachute. You probably don't have any parachutes at home. Well, obviously you don't, and that's absolutely fine. So I've got a suggestion for you. The reason I'm putting my t-shirt down is we're going to use our lab coats or our coats or our cardigans. I want you to run around the garden once and time yourself on your iPad or on your phone. And then I'd like you to do the same thing again, but I'd like you to put your top or your cardigan or whatever out like so, so that it acts like a parachute, and time yourself again and see what happens to that time, and see if you can explain on the sheet that is attached in the description how the time was different and why the time was different and what effect your parachute was having on the air and on gravity. Okay, key stage 2, that's the end of yours. So you've got whirligigs and parachutes to do. Don't forget to like the video, please, and also to download the worksheets that are attached in the description and have a go at those. Take pictures and videos of yourself doing them and send them to me because I'd love to see what you're up to. Okay, key stage 3. We're going to also have a look, after you've done those experiments, at balloon races and helicopter balloons. I've got some behind me here. You can buy these really cheaply off the internet, and I'm going to show you what they look like. This is a balloon car racer. Now, obviously, when a car runs along a surface, it runs along a surface dependent on the surface type and the friction that is acting on the surface. Make sure you tune into another one of these workshops because there will be one workshop on friction later. These balloon racers are great because you can just take the back wheels off and you can take the little pipe that's in the top out, and then you can keep changing the balloon in it so that you can all have a go at doing it in your family. And once you've done that, you don't need to take it apart anymore because you can just blow into the back pipe like so. And then you can hold onto the balloon like so, so that it doesn't go down. Then you can place your balloon onto a surface. Let's move my resources out of the way that I'm going to use for today. And when you place it down and let go, it runs on the surface or runs off of the table, depending on what you're doing. It's probably better to do it on the floor because you've got a bit more space, but I wanted you to see it along there. Okay, so with bearing that in mind, once you've had a go at balloon racers, why not have a go at balloon helicopters? And you can buy those really cheaply off the internet too. They're usually really good to put inside party packs. They're not very expensive. And again, with these packs, you tend to get quite a few balloons in them, which is great. And I'm just going to show you how to use them. So you get 3 propellers in them. And you get your little bit to attach the propellers to, which I'm going to do now. There is a little notch. I'll just come a little bit closer so you can see. There's a little notch in there, and there is a little notch in the top here, and they click together so you know that you've got them in the right place. And you can just hear them go click, like so. And again, we'll do it here. Click. And again, we'll do it here. And we've got our little bit on the end that we attach here. I'm going to do that after I've blown the balloon up. I'm just going to put it down while I give the balloon a blow. Here we go. The reason I did that is because I need to now get that end into this bit. So I'm going to hold on to it and be very careful about how I'm going to get it in. That's it, I've got hold of it now, that's great. And once you've done that, if you are going to be the only person using it, you can leave that attached on and blow through it. But if you're going to share it in your household and all have goes at doing it, you might want to do it the way I did it and then put it on. It's entirely up to you. But my son will play with this later. So I'm going to make sure that I haven't put my mouth over it. Right, so there we go. I'm just going to hold the balloon up so you can see it. And there we go. It's just a little bit noisy, but it's a really nice experiment for you to have a go at. And you can have a look at different things that would affect that. What happens if you attach a little bit of that blue tack to the propellers at the top? Does that have an effect on how it drops? It's worth having a try because it's a really good idea to have a go at fun, science, practical activities at home whilst you're unable to be in the lab and that you're not at school, because that's the best part of science. So that's Key Stage 3. Don't forget to like the video, have a look at my shop and the Pound Practicals, and enjoy doing the activities and download the worksheets. Make sure you do all of these. Okay, Key Stage 4. We're going to do finding the centre of mass of an irregular shape. So I'm going to start off by showing you two easy objects. If we were going to find the centre of mass of a circle, it would be quite straightforward because we would just fold it in half and fold it in half again. And where the line meets in the middle, I just draw a little dot on there, then that's the centre of mass of that circle. Can you see that? Just bring it a little bit closer. There we go. So the same can be said if we were going to use a rectangle. So if we folded it in half and then we folded it in half again. But these are not irregular shapes, are they? They are regular shapes. So the centre of mass is there on that one. But what would happen if we were trying to find the centre of mass of an irregular shape? We couldn't just fold it in half and fold it in half again because it's not very accurate, because this side is not the same length as this side, and so on and so on. It is an irregular shape. So we need to do an experiment for this, which is on the GCSE curriculum. And I've got a few crude pieces from my kitchen, because I'm not in the lab, just like you at the moment, of things that you could do at home to try this experiment too. I've got my coffee pod stand. You might have one of these, but if you've got any sort of stand, it will do. So I'm just going to stand that here so that you can see it. I've got a barbecue skewer, and I'm going to just sit that across the top like so. Inside, or just at the sides of my irregular shape, I have put two punched holes with a little hole puncher that I've got, but you can use a normal hole puncher and just put it through one side and just punch a couple of holes at two different points. It doesn't matter where they are, but at two different points on your irregular shape. And then you're going to hang it from your skewer, like so. Now we also need what's known as a plumb line to do this, but I don't have a plumb line, so I've made one myself. And all I've done is I've got a piece of string and I have hung a hex nut on the end for my weight. Okay, and I'm going to hang that also on my skewer. And I am going to mark 2 points on my piece of paper where the plumb line hangs down. So I've decided that I am going to do here, and I am going to do here. And then what I'm going to do, so it's kindly fallen off for me, is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to draw a line through those points. So where I hung it from, and then where my dots are on my piece of paper, I'm going to join them up like that, because my first dot was here and my second dot was here, and that was my plumb line. I'm now going to do it again, but I'm going to hang it from the second point that I have got, that I put a hole in my paper, like so. And I am going to hang my plumb line again, like so. I'm just going to wait for it to come to rest. Turn it around so that you can see it. I am going to mark 2 points, and I'm going to make sure, like so, on my piece of paper. I'm going to join those up again from where I hung. And if I've got this right, where the 2 lines cross can you see that? Should be the centre of gravity. And if that is the case, when I place this on my finger, like so, it should, if I can let go of it, maybe I'll hold it like this, it's probably better. Turn it around so you can see it. It should just balance because it is at the centre. That's perfect, isn't it? Okay, so don't forget, Key Stage 4, to download my worksheet that is attached with some exam questions on finding the centre of mass of an irregular shape. I hope you're enjoying the workshop today, and I hope to see you tomorrow for another exciting, fun and practical ideas workshop. Thanks very much, everyone. Take care. Bye.